Hello, people. Hope everybody's well. I'm all right. Mm, let's see. Beautiful day outside today. Last week of school here, finals week, so this is a nice thing. Um, we're going to talk today about Kennedy's poems. Let me see here. Before I do that, a couple of things. One, if you could do the course evaluations, I would appreciate that. Um, Two, you have till Friday to get in all your work to me, the end of finals week, Friday. So just know that you have this week to finish that stuff up, get your chat book in, etc. If you have questions or problems, you let me know, and I will do my best to help you out. So let's look at the poems that Kennedy chose today. Couple of things here. Kennedy chose one from our Chinese book, from the Chinese poems by Rexroth, and one from our anthology. Actually, she picked two from our anthology, but we're only going to look at two of the poems, Kennedy. Sorry, but that's what we've been doing with these. So just to make these videos not end up too long. So if you've got your 100 poems from the Chinese book, open it up. And if not, stop this right now and go get it, and then you can come back and see what's happening. So this is called The Red Cliff. It is on page 65, 65 of our Rex Roth book. Um, Everybody ready for this? I'm ready. I hope you're ready. The Red Cliff. The river flows to the east. Its waves have washed away all the heroes of history. To the west of the ancient wall, you enter the red gorge of Chu Ko Ling of the days of the three kingdoms. The jagged peaks pierce the heavens. The furious rapids beat at the boat and dash up in 1,000 clouds of spray like snow. Mountain and river have often been painted in the memory of the heroes of those days. I remember long ago Kung Chin, newly married to the beautiful Chiasso Sio, shining in splendor, a young warrior, and the other Chu Ko Ling in his blue cap, waving his horse-tailed duster, smiling and chatting as he burned the navy of Tuaos. Their ashes have scattered to the four winds. They vanished away in smoke. I like to dream of those dead kingdoms. Let people laugh at my prematurely gray hair. My answer is a wine cup full of the moon drowned in the river. Okay, beautiful as always. Every single poem in this book is beautiful. But a couple of things. One, obviously, I don't know how to pronounce all these names in here. There are a bunch of names in this poem, and I don't know how to pronounce any of them. So forgive me for those, no doubt, completely screwed up pronunciations. Um, and let's see here what Kennedy has to say about this. She says, I chose the Red Cliff because of the last four lines. Um, Hold on just a sec, people. Oh, yeah, wait, hold on. Sorry. Sorry. I chose the Red Cliff because of those last four lines. I thought that the whole poem was that at first. Ah, yeah, so you get that. Just the four lines on that second page she thought was the whole poem. I just love the absurd response to someone making fun of your gray hair being a wine cup full of the moon drowned in the river, which is like you say, sort of ridiculous and absurd, and lots of fun. The last bit of the poem is what I'd like to focus on. Their ashes were scattered to the four winds. They vanished away in smoke. I like to dream of those dead kingdoms. Let people laugh at my prematurely gray hair. My answer is a wine cup full of the moon drowned in the river. The poet describes the mystified glory of kingdoms past and seemed very nostalgic for a history they never experienced firsthand. Yes, as most of us, or many of us, very nostalgic for a history they never experienced firsthand. This reminds me of how I feel sometimes after finishing a book about faraway lands, where the story makes me feel like I've lived in that time and those people, even though I haven't. Not too long ago, I watched Prince Caspian movie with some of my friends, and it brought me back to being obsessed with the books and movies from when I was younger. We all experienced similar feelings of nostalgia and talked about when you're outside, you can kind of feel like you're there, even though you've never physically been there. Yes, this is, I want to say, the beauty of language, right? The fact that we can communicate something that we haven't experienced. The line that says, I like to dream of those dead kingdoms, really resonates with a lot of my book reading experiences. I like the prematurely gray hair, symbolizes the poet's love, obsession, nostalgia for a past that belonged to ancestors more than it means their hair is literally gray. Yeah, I like that, Kennedy. They seem whimsical towards these tales of old, and people laugh at their niche interest. The fact that they were remembering the past instead of living in the now. Yes, remembering the past instead of living in the now. Again, I love the answer to the laughter because it is carefree and absurd, and just really beautiful imagery. Yeah, okay. So for one, I just want to point out that this is absolutely true. Kennedy's got some great points here. Um, People spend too much time, let's say, remembering the past instead of living in the now. And this poem sort of gets at that idea. I'm thinking of just in general, I'm thinking of the idea of Trump's phrase, make America great again. Um, Again, meaning there was a time in the past and people are nostalgic for that time in the past, even though many of us don't even know what time period that is. So it's hard to be nostalgic for it. Or it could be a time period that we're not even alive yet. Maybe it was in the 1950s. I don't know when America was great to begin with. So at any rate, a lot of people spend a lot of time in their nostalgic thoughts. Um, Really beautiful stuff here, Kennedy. You've got some great points about things. So, is there anything I would like to point out? Um, I don't think so. Beautiful poem. And the other poem that we're going to look at, Kennedy had also chosen the poem. Sorry, people. My computer is just, it's like freezing up on me. There we go. She had also chosen the poem, chose the poem, Behold the Grave of a Wicked Man, on page 204 from our anthology. Behold the Grave of a Wicked Man. But we're not going to talk about that one. We're going to talk about the last poem that she chose, which is The Lost Pilot by James Tate. That's in our anthology on page 999. It's like 666, but it's upside down. Okay, so James Tate, The Lost Pilot. I'll read this and then we'll hear what Kennedy has to say about it. The Lost Pilot. Your face did not rot like the others. The co pilot, for example, I saw him yesterday. His face is corn mush. His wife and daughter, the poor ignorant people, stare as if he will compose soon. He was more wronged than Job, but your face did not rot like the others. It grew dark and hard like ebony. The features progressed in their distinction. If I could cajole you to come back for an evening, down from your compulsive orbiting, I would touch you, read your face as Dallas, your hoodlum gunner, now, with the blistered eyes, reads his braille editions. I would touch your face as a disinterested scholar touches an original page. However frightening, I would discover you, and I would not turn you in. I would not make your face your wife, or Dallas, or the co pilot Jim. You could return to your crazy orbiting, and I would not try to fully understand what it means to you. All I know is this: when I see you, as I have seen you at least once every year of my life, spin across the wilds of the sky like a tiny African god, I feel dead. I feel as if I were the residue of a stranger's life, that I should pursue you, my head cocked toward the sky. I cannot get off the ground, and you passing over again, fast, perfect, and unwilling to tell me that you were doing well, or that it was a mistake that placed you in the world, and me in this, or that misfortune placed these worlds in us. Oh man. Okay, a lot of stuff here. I should have mentioned at the beginning that this is written for his father. Um, says for my father, 1922 to 1944, which I assume is his. Died when he was 22 in the war. Um, that's what I'm assuming here. So let's see here what Kenny has to say. Okay. Though I chose the Lost Pilot because it happened to tie in with my accidental theme of remembering the dead. Oh yeah, so from the first poem, right? In this poem, the poet describes the charred face of his father, a pilot who burned in a plane crash, obliterating his features, unlike the other victims whose faces slowly rotted. People hold viewings so that they can have one last look at a person who died, but if they die in a way that becomes horribly disfigured, they are robbed of that chance to see them again. This left the poet without closure. I feel dead. I feel as if I were the residue of a stranger's life, that I should pursue you. It seems like there were some things left unsaid between them, and now he cannot even look at the pilot's face again. He will struggle to find closure. He feels trapped in the dead man's life, trapped in remembering, but in a much less pleasant way than the author of The Red Cliff. Oh, yeah, because so that was a sort of nice. Um, this person was somehow, this person was someone he knew, but was, I'm sorry, people. This person was someone he knew, but perhaps not as well as he liked. He writes that the pilot is unwilling to tell me what you were doing, or that you were doing well, or that it was a mistake that placed you in the world and me in this, or that misfortune placed these worlds in us. Kennedy says, so I think the poet wants answers and feels stuck because he can't get any, which I think is exactly right. And assuming that, yes, his father's dates, obviously then his father died at 22, would be before the poet would have time to get to know him, and as you say, leave many things unsaid. James Tate is a terrific poet, and I like this poem a whole bunch. There's some really good stuff in it. Um, I really like what Kennedy has to say about it. I just saw on the bottom of 1001, page 1001, Teaching the Ape to Write Poems, which is one of my favorite poems, so I'm just going to read that real quick. Teaching the Ape to Write Poems. They didn't have much trouble teaching the ape to write poems. First, they strapped him into the chair, then tied the pencil around his hand. The paper had already been nailed down. Then Dr. Bluespire leaned over his shoulder and whispered into his ear, "You look like a god sitting there. Why don't you try writing something?" This is beautiful to me, people. We are all simply apes in the chair. Beautiful stuff. So let's see here for our writing. Here is the exercise. Kennedy says, write a nostalgic poem about a book or story that you loved as a kid. Oh, so this is nice. Or write a letter from the grave, your own or a made up character's. Oh, well, that's nice. Or write whatever you want. I don't run your life, which is absolutely correct. So we've got three options here. You can write a nostalgic poem about a book or a story that you loved as a kid. You can write a poem that is a letter from the grave, either your own grave or somebody else's. Or you can write whatever you want, which is of course always the option. But the point is that we're writing. So on your mark, hold on. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm ready. Sorry. Oh wait, nice pencil here. Okay. Everybody ready? On your mark, get set, go. Okay, people. I got a poem here. Um, I chose to write about a book or a story that was meaningful to me as a kid, that I loved as a kid, which I'm writing about the movie Pete's Dragon. Not the recent remake, of course, but the old, whatever, 1970s version. Pete's Dragon, which obviously as a child, and it was called Pete's Dragon. My name's Pete. Obviously, that was something that I latched onto. Here's the poem. First, it was the dragon, but not the dragon. It was the songs, the melodies, but then it was not the songs and the melodies. It was the story, but the story was not a story for boys age 30. Then it was the candle, the love, the water. Then it was the cave, the lighthouse, the lost ship. Then it was me, alone, in my memory, searching the screen for a reason to live. I just want to mention here, I say in here, but it was the story, but the story was not a story for boys age 30. Story 30, I use the 30, but really I want to say I was 26. And what I'm talking about here is the fact that on my honeymoon, my wife and I saw this movie. It came on the TV, and I hadn't seen the movie since I was a child, and it just destroyed me, people. It was a little bit more than I could take. But so at the time, right? I guess I was 26 or 27, and oh, watching that movie almost ruined our honeymoon. You know, I could just be a little too emotional sometimes. I hope everyone's well. Kennedy, thank you for the poems. Thank you for your great thoughts on them. Hey, everyone. This is very possibly the last video that I'm making. God, I hope everyone has a good, safe summer. I hope we all come back next fall and are happy and healthy and all of that. If y'all got questions or problems about anything regarding the class or anything at all, you just let me know and I will do my best to help you out. Otherwise, I got nothing for you, people. Take care. Good luck with everything. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.